Alright, Astro subscribers, welcome back to the almost last installment of the Lunar Mansion series, where on this channel, we're discussing Western and Vedic astrological thought and philosophy, and how to use these concepts to predict outcomes in your own life, and maybe in the lives of your friends, those you care about, plan your time, whatever. For those who are unfamiliar, astrology is effectively a series of correspondences between astronomical and temporal events in our local cosmos and the actions and behaviors of both individual people and groups of people here on this planet. So you can do personality readings, you can do predictions, you can do predictions of mass movements. Political movements tend to happen around astrological key points, etc. So for those in the know, it's a pretty powerful tool to use to sort of get an idea of what's going to happen before it happens. It's not 100% perfect like anything in life, but it is close enough that it's much, much better than chance. And if you learn this stuff, you can have that, it's not necessarily omniscience, but it's temporal, the ability to cast yourself forward in time by recognizing a pattern and seeing the ideas that are going to be present and how people are likely to react to those ideas in the future. It also helps you understand other people much better, the types of people that you're going to attract in your life. All of this can be seen through astrology to a great degree of accuracy. So without further ado, today we're going to be filling out some of the last few lunar mansions, specifically the lunar mansion of Purva Bhadrapada, which is a lunar mansion that goes from 20 degrees Aquarius to 3.2 or 3 1/3 degrees Pisces. 2 is 2 out of 6 or 20 out of 60 degrees. You can also think of it as 20 minutes out of 60 minutes being a degree, or arc. It's called arc minutes technically, but that doesn't really matter. Just know that it's 3 1/3 degrees Pisces. From there to back to 20 degrees Aquarius is the length of this time. And for those of you who might not be familiar with the concept of a lunar mansion is basically the amount of distance that the moon moves in one solar day. So in 24 hours, dawn to dawn, or whatever, it's usually dawn to dawn, the moon moves 13 1/3 degrees. There are 27 of these lunar mansions, because 27 times 13 1/3 is 360, and the planets move around us or appear to move around us, depending on your cosmology, from a in sort of a circular pattern, an elliptical pattern, which is 360 degrees. So each day of lunar time the moon moves 13 1/3 degrees, and each of these demarcations, these 27 demarcations, has their own qualities and can be used to predict certain things about a person depending on what planet is sitting in that little span of space-time. So, that being said, Purva Bhadrapada, what is it? So, the first portion of this is in the sign of Aquarius. Most of it's in the sign of Aquarius, 3/4 of it is. And between 20 degrees Aquarius and the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, like 30 degrees Aquarius, these people, it's ruled by Jupiter. The Nakshatra is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of studies and belief systems and religion and spirituality. It is essentially a learner and a teacher. It is related to the eye. It is related to the positive aspect of society, the benefit of society, whereas Saturn would be the negative aspect of society, archetypally. So basically, and then what is Aquarius? Aquarius is a sign ruled by Saturn. It's ruled by, co-ruled by Uranus, which is the planet of science and technology and tool use, and north node of the moon is the other co-ruler of Aquarius in the Vedic system, which is the planet of, basically, it's not really a planet, it's a mathematical point, sort of like the ascendant or rising sign is, but North node of the moon is the planet of immediate gratification. It's the planet of hunger and desperation, and your point of least personal growth. And it's always on the opposite side of the world from the south node, which is the south node of the moon is basically your point of mastery from your last incarnations, or if you don't believe in that, it's just what you're naturally good at, your natural talent. And you're so naturally good at it that you feel the need to pay very little attention to it. So for instance, somebody with their south node in, let's say, Taurus is not going to be very interested in money, food, and music because they feel like they already understand that in their bones, in their embodied nature. It's already in their blood. They don't need to spend too much mental energy on it. North node is the opposite of that. It's what you feel like you don't have a natural knack for it. You don't have your embodied knowledge helping you there. So basically what ends up happening with the north node is that you dedicate a lot of mental energy to it, and you try to think. These topics consume your mind a lot. So basically when you put Saturn, Uranus, and the north node in one sign, that's Aquarius. So Saturn is systems, it's rules, it's natural law, it's time frames, basically the limitations of the material world and the social world. It also has relations to tyranny because the natural laws enforce a sort of tyranny, like you can't fly even if you want to. It's basically the planet of material reality and obligations, and the consequences of not fulfilling those obligations should you choose to violate natural rules. So basically what ends up happening with when you add Uranus and North Node to that is a person makes as many attempts as possible to subvert natural laws in ways that try to remove the delays that Saturn imposes. So Saturn as a planet, depending on the amount of Saturn related placements you have, Saturn operates on a pretty long time scale relative to the human life. It operates on a 30-year time period. So basically, it has this tendency to hold things that you might want and make you work for them, so it can teach you the value of time, effort, and limitation. And Aquarius people, they don't really they're not very patient. They don't like taking the patient approach to things. So what they have a tendency of doing is trying to subvert natural rules and use the natural rules to their own advantage so that they can subvert those limitations and get what they want as fast as possible. Now, if you've got a lot of Aquarius placements that don't have any oppositions or malefic effects operating on them, you probably identify with that quite strongly. And if you don't, then maybe you're a person who doesn't face much limitation and hardship, and everything comes to you quickly, or maybe you operate in a way that you just are very patient. You think if you just put in your 10,000 hours, things come to you, and that's more of a Capricorn mindset. Both of these mindsets are correct. Neither is wrong or right. They both have advantages and disadvantages, and that's why they both exist in the same space. Now, the Nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada is basically, like I said, runs from 20 degrees Aquarius to 3 1/3 degrees Pisces, and the Aquarius side of it tends to be it's ruled by Jupiter, so you have Jupiter, the planet of obligations, learning, and social responsibilities, and then you have Aquarius, basically the sign of subverting natural laws and attempting to shape the world in their own way to get what they want out of it and not have to wait for these natural time cycles to come to their close. They want it now, so they want their independence now. So basically, what you get with a person here is it actually cancels out one of the main downfalls of Aquarius, which is that they can be too quick in their actions. They can, want things too quickly, and then they end up messing up their life by creating an unforeseen circumstance by seeking liberty that they haven't earned, or screwing someone to get their freedom faster. So this takes away a lot of the malefic nature of Aquarius, the that sort of like, I don't care what happens to you as long as I get what I want quickly. So that's a good thing. It makes these people into researchers. It makes these people into lifelong learners effectively. This is a very good placement for learning new things, for learning science, for learning almost any sort of mental enterprise. Now, the negative aspect of it is that even though you might not have as much risk from the sign of Aquarius, you're also not going to have as much reward. So you see this a lot when North Node and Jupiter come into the same place. North Node is I want it now, and Jupiter is I want to do things right. Jupiter is not material. North Node is hyper material. It's desperate for material. So basically, when you put these two entities together, what tends to happen is that Jupiter cancels out the negative, sort of greedy, materialistic nature of the North Node, and the North Node, it can't cancel out Jupiter's goodness, but it is this constant tug of war going on between these two planets where one of them wants something one way and one of them wants something the other. And basically what you get is somebody who is non-materialistic but questions every belief system. Like they subvert every belief system and they try to like start their science from scratch. You know, these are the people who would be inclined to question some foundational principle of reality, and maybe they'll figure out something wrong with it. They're not contrarian necessarily, they question everything. Like if somebody's natural inclination is to be like, well, you just have to believe in gravity, they're going to be like, well, wait, why do I have to believe in gravity? What if I don't believe in gravity? What happens then? And they have this sort of naive but also deeply questioning scientific nature where they want to question first principles and philosophies and you know, screw with the social order a little bit. And you see that a lot in Purva Bhadrapada people. These people are sort of like rebel scientists, I guess you could say. That's their primary function, is to question belief systems, to learn new things, and to you know, subvert natural rules and laws while still being a moral actor in the world. So in general, this is a pretty good placement. You have to watch out for being immoral, and you also have to watch out for not getting lost in your own world and realizing that the material world is still important, and that, you know, you can't spend all your time researching, because you still do have to focus on reality to some extent. Now, the Aquarius people have less of a problem with that, but when you get into the domain of the Pisces, the first 3 and 3rd degrees of Pisces in this sign, those people, they live basically in a completely abstract space, and they can have, their main downfall is that they're so interested in theorization that they can have a hard time coping with the realities of everyday life. Now, obviously, not all of these things are going to apply to you because you've got an entire chart to look at, and what you want to do if you're analyzing something or someone is you want to look at all the planets, all the house placements, all the Nakshatra placements, and all the other relevant factors, and then you want to make your call from there. So obviously nobody embodies all the qualities of this sign, because everybody has all the signs in their chart. But if somebody has a large percentage of planets or key planets in this sign, that is very likely what they're going to be. They're going to identify with a lot of these descriptions. So I hope this video was helpful and informative, and you know, if you have somebody in your life who's got a lot of Purva Bhadrapada placements, then or late degree or early degree Aquarius or Pisces placements, show them this video, and maybe they'll find it helpful, and you know, maybe it'll give them a paradigm shift or something. Till then, see you later. And next time we're going to be doing Uttara Bhadrapada, which is in the middle of the sign of Pisces. So yeah, check that out when you can.